Now, we're in a perfect position to move on to the next topic. And the next topic is about hiatal hernias. Now, you remember that there is a sac that holds everything in place. When I say everything, all of your organs are held in place from about the groin up to the rib level. And that sac sometimes will be broken through, and the organs will go down and cause a regular hernia. Sometimes nerves will cause them to go up and cause a hiatal hernia. So what we're going to do is demonstrate how to take a hiatal hernia out the natural way, without surgery. Now, before we shift positions here, I'd like to tell you that there is a way that you can do this by operation. It's really very simple. You simply make an incision from the bottom of one rib cage over to the bottom of the other. Reach in, take some cloth, and pull the esophagus down, and then sew up the person. That's not even always successful, so we'd like to show you the natural way. So we're going to shift positions here so that we can show you precisely how to do it in the best camera angle. Now, we have shifted position now, and the reason we're shifting for the camera is I want you to be able to see that the hiatal hernia will form mostly on the left side, so we put the left side closest to the camera. Kind of run your fingers straight down from your breastbone here and divide your front into two sections. On the left side, just beneath the rib cage, and again, feel your rib cage. On the left side, just left of that center, and just below the rib cage, that's the point where you'll find a hiatal hernia starts. I call it the epicenter. You may call it other things. You might cuss at it too, but rather than cussing at it, what we like to do is get rid of it. So if a person has a hiatal hernia, this place is sore. Now, some of the other symptoms of a hiatal hernia, before we start into this with our model here, is that when you eat, you feel air catching here, and it almost feels like a heartburn. When you eat, the food seems to catch in a clump here, and it just lays there. Now, if it stays much in a clump here, it's most likely a hiatal hernia. If you get sort of a bar feeling, it's usually candida that's in the issue. But it feels like it catches right here. But the dead giveaway about hiatal hernias is the person belches a bunch. Probably at the most inappropriate times, but they keep belching and belching and belching uncontrollably. Some people more than others, but that belching is the signal that you're dealing with a hiatal hernia. So it's a sore feeling there when you touch it. So if you're working on somebody and you're about to work to take it out by pressing in, they're used to literally defending this. So you press in here real fast and you're going to get an iron wall. So the first part of taking a hiatal hernia out is, one, find it. And it feels like it's about this big. You press in with both fingers and get the person to breathe with you. So you say, take a deep breath and let it out and let the fingers come in. And then you'll find the spot. Now, our model doesn't have a hiatal hernia, so I'm not going to go in real deep with this, but as you go in to that point left of center and below the rib cage, not right up against it, but below it by a finger width or sometimes 2 finger widths. When you find the spot, now you know what you're going to go after. You're going to go in with both hands, and as you press into it, this is going to be all very swiftly, and I'll show it to you in the correct timing, but you press into it, and then you bring your fingers towards you and pull it down. The idea, if it's a ball like this, it's like a big cushion ball. And as you press in and pull this way, you pull the center here, and the center folds and brings the whole ball out from underneath the rib cage. Now, if you've ever gone to a garage and you've watched them fill the air into your tire, and it goes closer and closer, and then finally there's a pop as it goes on to the rim, this is popping off the rim or off the underneath part of the rib cage. So again, I'm going to ask the model to breathe in and then breathe out, and I'll come in and press. Now, we do this several times. There's several ways to make this easier. I purposely asked the model to lay out straight, but you want to take some of the tension off of this. So one of the ways you do when you're ready is to bring the knees up like this again. Looks like a familiar position, right? But that takes the tension off the abdominal muscles. Second is you want belts and everything out of the way. I'm not going to try and disrobe our model at the moment, but you want belts out of the way and nothing cinturing the waist. So you ask the person to take a deep breath, and then you'll practice going in several times. And now I'm going to do this slow motion and then appropriate motion. So take a deep breath, and then as she lets her air out, I'm going to go in, push. Now watch how my fingers are going in and down, and it's a cross down, as if you're drawing a line from the shoulder down to the hip bone. You're going to be pulling along that line. So I'm going to go in, kind of work that ball down, and then pull it down this way. Now I'll try not to do this in a way that kills our model, but I'm going to do it in the kind of speed that you'll need to do it, and it's pretty swift. So you take a deep breath, let it out, do this, and then you'll notice that's swift. The first time you'll do it, you have to get used to the timing of this. The first time you'll do it, you'll think about it, and then you'll push in a non-fluid movement. You'll push in, and then you'll pull. What you want to do is push in and pull at the same time. So I'll do it the jerky way. That's not the way to do it. The way you do it is you push in and down. So in and down. Now, I've often demonstrated that if I had a pillow around me, and pardon me, hang on for just a second, there is a balloon over here. If you'll pardon the squeakiness of the balloon, now obviously you don't have hiatal hernias this big, but it's enough to demonstrate. When I'm pushing down, I'm pushing this way and pulling this way. Now you'll notice how this center portion of this ball, and you can do it with a sweater or anything to see how it works. If I push down this way and pull this way, this part starts to come towards me. Now if it's tucked up under the rib and I pull that out, as I pull this part towards me, it just unfolds or collapses the rest of that little ball right along with it. And you pull that ball out from underneath the rib, and it just literally it disintegrates, because it is only a ball of nerves that is gathered by tension in one spot. You take the tension away, and it literally disappears. So let me put this over to the side. And again, you want to do this at a cross, diagonal to the body. The epicenter is always on the left side. Sometimes a hiatal hernia will shift also. In other words, it'll be tight here, but it will be equally tight on the right side. If it's done that, you take the epicenter of the left side out first, then you shift over to the other side of the table so that you can stay on the diagonal with the body from shoulder to hip bone, and you pull the right side out precisely the same way. Now, to finish it up correctly, it's best if you just gently but firmly kind of massage the stomach, in which you pull the stomach down. Any little remaining parts that have tucked up under the rib, you want to pull them down like this. It's very easy to do. And every once in a while, as you do this, hiatal hernia victims will say, oh, I felt a little more give. Oh, I felt a little more give here. A little more give here. And you keep doing this. Now, I want you to know there's a second alternative to this operation. And I was taught this methodology by Colorado farmers. What they do is, when they feel this and they know they got something wrong there, they go drink a gallon of water in one sitting, or as fast as they possibly can, so they load their stomach full of water, and it's pretty heavy. Then they go up on the fifth step of the steps, and they jump down, and as they hit and jar, the weight of the water in the stomach pulls it straight down. Now, you may jam a few vertebrae doing it that way. You may put your neck out of position, give yourself a whiplash, but it works. And they've used it very successfully. what I like to do is do an adaptation of that is take the hiatal hernia out this way and then ask the subject to go drink a couple, 3 glasses of water so that there is some weight in the stomach, but it keeps the stomach stretched down in the right place and keeps taking all that tension out of the hiatal hernia. It's a much easier way than drinking a gallon of water and jumping off the step. But the principle still works very valuably. So, that's for a hiatal hernia.